Welcome on this fine day here in the United States of America. That's right. Good morning, America. You are listening to Bras Panties and Sports, and if you happen to be in a different country, good whatever time of day it is for you. I'm Spitface, and I'm here with the always classy and sometimes sassy host of this show, the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith. Good morning.
Good morning. What a glorious day. And you know why it's glorious? Because my New York Knicks are in the playoffs.
Knicks fans everywhere. The drought has ended. The drought at the playoff drought at some other team can take over the mantle of not having been in the playoffs for a long time. And but we'll get into that. But check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Earl Carter. Now, will he find his shining star, get the cold feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea, fly like an eagle, let the Spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as the Golden State Warriors wish they could fly far away from being eliminated from the play-in games. The Splash and the playoffs and the Splash Brothers are no more. Say it isn't so. Given Steph has played like a man possessed this season, is there a chance for the Warriors to rebuild and get Steph one more ring? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, the former two-time MVP, and may I say the only MVP to be unanimously picked in the NBA, Steph Curry has done what many pundits believed he couldn't do, and that is carry the Warriors on his back. So many people believe the Warriors are in a rebuild, but Klay Thompson is expected to return next season, and if he is a semblance of himself before sitting out 2 years with back-to-back injuries, let me tell you, the Warriors will be able to regain their championship pedigree. The Warriors have the highest payroll in the NBA, yet they also have valuable assets. Their rookie phenom center James Wiseman will be back after the injury. Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green are all signed through at least to 2022-23 season. Now, second-year guard Jordan Poole has shown surprisingly promise to be part of their core. And next season, Steph's contract will expire, so he wants to be a Warrior for life. We'll see what type of contract extensions the Warriors will offer the 33-year-old guard now. Yeah, he's 33 now, so this probably will be his last big contract. And he does want to be a Warrior for life. And also, they have to make a decision on Kelly Oubre, who is a free agent this summer. Now, even though their cap is the Warriors' cap is really high, the Warriors will be in the lottery this year for their draft pick because obviously they didn't make it to the playoffs, so they are part of the lottery pick, and they'll go through that process. And also, they will have the Minnesota Timberwolves number one pick in this year's draft. Everybody forgot. You remember they had D'Angelo Russell. They sent him to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they got picks for that. That's why they got James Wiseman. So the Warriors, they have a great future despite having a high salary cap. Their future really is bright. and they definitely have some salary cap issue. Well, not salary cap issue. Because they can re-sign Steph without really hurting their salary cap. The problem is how much of an extension are they going to give Steph? Now, hey, people thought Steph wasn't going to be the player he was this year, and he's shown that he's number 3 in the MVP voting, which I really didn't think he should be part of that, because to be honest with you, I think Julius Randle got snubbed because he should have been at least in the top 3 for MVP. Come on now. Look what happened with the Knicks. I know they're going to have him. He's going to win most improved, but come on now. Look at his numbers. And look what he's done. He single-handedly brought the Knicks to the playoff, the 4th seed. Steph didn't even get his team into the playoffs. But anyway, I digress. Let me go back to what we were talking about. We're talking about the Warriors and their future. So anyway, I really think as long as the Splash Brothers are healthy, they will always be in contention for a ring. So, yeah, I believe Steph can win another MVP, but it all depends on how healthy Clay will be, and will he at least be 90% of himself, and that's the key. Will he be the same Klay Thompson we all know? Spitface, what are you thinking about this?
Well, First Lady, I'm looking at it, and the biggest, I say the Splash Brothers are no more. Klay through, it's the problem with being, big guys that, that stress on your body. Everybody in NBA be having injuries, and that's how it roll. They play that long, their injuries, they don't, I'm not going to say that they hide, but it's just like, why do I even need to bother to report this particular injury? And they play through it and they deal with it. So everybody in the NBA have to deal with it. But Klay, I kind of think that the injury demons, it's just, they just cast about you, brother. You may need to get an exorcism, because the injury demons seem to have inhabited your place. So, I would have said give Miss Cleo a call, but she ain't around no more. At least Miss Rudolph, somebody. But Klay, I think you need a little help, brother, and from some divine intervention, because it's just looking like that injury demon will be upon you. So it's going to be interesting how they play Klay. But I'm going, hey, you know what? Steph got a whole bunch left in his tank, and it makes no sense for him to go to another team. And I don't think. Well, I'll put it like this. Steph don't want the whole bank. Steph want another ring. He got money, and he going to get some more money. So he ain't going to put the Warriors in a position where it's like, man, we got to get, we already, heading up there, on the cap. Now, are you going to just make us where we're going to have to now shuffle people? So Steph is going to get him a deal. He's going to go for a deal that, hey, I'm making more money. The team is able to bring in the people and keep the people we need. And I don't know if Draymond is one of them. I think it might be time to let his ass go. But, and, but you're like, hey, look, you know what? Hey, Klay, Draymond, y'all did y'all thing. Let these young boys, these other players, because I think the coach and the organization, they're going to get him in position where he'll get at least one more shot to get the ring. They will be in the finals one more time in Steph's career. So he'll get that last shot to win another ring. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Okay, well, if you remember, I said the Warriors have all their core players signed through to 22-23 season. That includes Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Klay. So I think he will get the bag this off season for a 2-year extension. It probably will not be no more than 2 years, but I think they will pay him top dollars for 2 more years because of the fact that they already got a placeholder in there for his cap hit already. So, like I said, I mean, regardless of where their cap is, they still got a lot of maneuvering because they got a lot of young talent also. So I think they will sign Steph to a big contract extension for 2 more years. All right, Spitface, over to you.
All right. Hey, either way, Steph ain't going nowhere. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowered, over the competition. I'm towered. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest. That all gets sliced and diced. Competition, paying the price. I'm going to knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to the Hornets and Pacers, which have them both doing what? Going fishing. Now, the Pacers lasted a little longer than the Hornets, but the results were the same. They ain't in the playoffs. The question is, which team will be moving up next season? Are these teams at a crossroads? The Hornets have a young, hungry team, and the Pacers seem like they have fallen and can't get back up. Who will have a better record next season? Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bear are asking, what you saying? First Lady, the Hornets are looking like a young team that is heading in the right direction. Because it's been a while since, whether it was the playoffs or play-in, they usually be played out around this time. They'd have been played out. So at least they had a fighting chance. And, there's a lot of promise in Charlotte for that Hornets team. And, with they rookies and who gonna be seasoned. They got something going on. They got some. The Pacers, on the other hand, now I think they do need to have a seance, and they might need to bring the spirit of Miss Cleo. Because can anybody figure out what that team is doing? Where they going? I mean, I'm like mystified at what are the Pacers? Who are what is this team? And they don't, you don't get the sense from them that they're going anywhere but falling down and not being able to get up. Now, the Hornets, you're going to have to watch them. They will have a better record next season. Those young players would have had a whole season under their belt. They're hungry, and they can play. First Lady, what you saying?
Well, I mean, the Charlotte Hornets were actually doing exceptionally well until injuries plagued them. Their rookie phenom, LaMelo Ball, broke his wrist and missed like 21 games. And the Hornets' record was 10-11 within those 21 games. And they were really rolling at the time of his injury. He was on his way to being unanimously the Rookie of the Year. Now there's question because he's been out 21 games. But I still think he should be the Rookie of the Year. And also, Gordon Hayward missed the Hornets' final 25 games due to a foot injury. Are we surprised? Hell no, we're not surprised. Because the Hornets and actually Michael Jordan, many people question him for signing Gordon Hayward to that 4 years, $120 million contract because of the fact that he was so injury prone. So are we surprised that he was injured the last 25 games? No. Anyway, but in general, the Hornets are in good shape because, like you said, Spitface, they have a lot of young talent. And the better thing about these young talent, they're very good. And, of course, they're all on rookie contracts. And, they have a couple of free agents they have to make a decision on because they still don't have a lot of salary cap space also. But they do have they have two main people that they got to make a decision on. That's Malik Monk and Devontae Graham. Now, both of them are restricted free agents. And, Devontae Graham, he was in the running last year to be Rookie of the Year. What happened was he was a second-round draft pick, so they signed him. I don't even remember I think they were able to sign him to a regular contract, so he probably may not even be a restricted free agent. But he did not have a great sophomore year either. So Malik Monk actually had he was with the team for 4 years? He's similar to what Frank Ntilikina is with the Knicks. They came in together, and Malik Monk didn't do anything his first 3 years, but he finally had a great year this year. Of course, it's on the end of a contract where they got to make a decision. But, so I still think the Hornets, they have a lot to look forward to. Now, on the other hand, the Indiana Pacers, let's face it, they were a disappointment, definitely a disappointment. If you remember, they fired Nate McMillan, the former coach of the Pacers, because they felt that the Pacers, or he couldn't get the Pacers past the first round. They had been knocked out of the first round 4 consecutive years, so that's why they fired Nate McMillan. And then they hired Nate Jorgen. And unfortunately, things have not worked out with the new Nate, because the new Nate, he's been in a lot of contentious arguments with several people in the Pacers organization. Basically, they said his communication style has been labeled as aggressive and abrasive with players, assistant coaches, and front office staff. Oh, hell, he can't get along with anyone in the organization, including the medical staff. So the fact that he's giving out all this abuse, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So I expect him to be fired, to be honest with you, Spitface. And possibly the general manager, Kevin Pritchett, probably will be also fired or let go, because he's the one who hired Nate and got rid of the other Nate McMillan, who has, guess what? He has led the Atlanta Hawks to a 5th seed after his firing. And, he was fired, then the Atlanta Hawks fired their coach, and Nate took over. And when Nate took over, the Hawks were spiraling out of control and in almost last place. But they had really had one of the best records since he was hired. And like I said, they're in the 5th place right now. So the Pacers, regardless of all what's going on with all the turmoil in their organization, they still have, believe it or not bad, they still have good players there. They got most of their core players are signed through the 22-23 season. Of course, they got their all-star forward, Domantas Sabonis. He was an all-star. He's great. Now, they have 2 free agents who were really helpful in the fact that they were even able to get to the play-in, and that's Doug McDermott. He had his best year ever, and T.J. McConnell. They are unrestricted free agents, so they will definitely have to sign him. So it's really, believe it or not, Spitface, one team is younger, one team has more experience. The Pacers have more experience. It's really hard to determine how both of these teams will do, because believe it or not, I still think they are relatively equal to each other. But I'm going to give the edge to the Hornets. The only reason I'm going to give the edge to the Hornets, it is a little caveat with them being better, is because they'll be better if Gordon Hayward can stay healthy. If he can't stay healthy, then no, they ain't making the playoffs again. So, but if they stay healthy, I think the Hornets will have a better record than the Pacers. All right, Spitfire, that's all I'm saying.
All right, watch out for surprise trades. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, we'll have a performance from Earl Carter on Shout Out Part 1.
Go Knicks. Welcome back. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Earl Carter.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today we are featuring music from Earl Carter. He says, quote, Earl Carter is a Washington, D.C.-based multi-instrumentalist and music producer whose talent, professionalism, and star quality has officially put him in the class of Billboard recording artists. Wow. Okay. Well, let's hear this Billboard recording artist. Let's hear Fresh. Hey, that was fresh. I mean, unfortunately, it got cut short. Spitface, I didn't really want it to stop. I really enjoyed that fresh saxophone playing Earl Carter. I'm definitely shouting that out. Definitely shout it out. Are you going to shout out Spitface, or are you going to hit the mute button?
My man was fresh. And I don't know if it was, well, I get that you could have listened to some more of it, because the track was almost 4 minutes long. So, he didn't send in a snippet like some folks have been known to do. He gave us a full taste of his artistry. I'm shouting it out.
All right. Okay. Well, on part 2 of Shout Out, we'll have another performance from Earl Carter. And speaking of performance, is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
Faster than lightning, know what you see, is smarter than he. And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the sea.
All right, it is time for Flip It, where our hosts defend the view and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. Let's see. The Clippers lost in their openers against the Mavericks. We wonder, will the Clippers rebound and go all the way and Kyrie be the MVP of the finals? Defend, Kyrie Leonard will be a superstar. Well, he is a superstar. But the Clippers will get clipped. And well, First Lady, one thing is that, Kawhi Leonard is, no doubt he is a superstar. And the Clippers, actually the Clippers are a lot of people's favorites to actually win it all. And because they got a powerful team. And I just think that there is something about them playing in the same stadium as the Lakers. And I guess this is my day where, and I'm going to tell you, I did not watch Poltergeist last night. I did not watch Poltergeist. But it seems like a couple of these thieves got to exorcise some demons before they can move forward, And but the West, as usual, is really, really competitive and stacked. And if the Clippers, they've already been exposed as having a weakness, and with them losing, the Mavs can take them. The Mavs can take them. And the Mavs have already stole home court. Can the Clippers get it back? So they already being stress tests. But they will fight. Kawhi will be a superstar, but they're going to get clipped. First Lady, defend.
Oh, my gosh. Well, Spitface, the Clippers are the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA.
Ooh.
Everybody talk a lot about how good of a team it is, but guess what? When it comes to the playoffs, they just cannot perform. Now, we all know the Cowboys, they just can't even get into the playoffs, but at least the Clippers get into the playoffs, but they just don't perform. It doesn't matter who's on the team. From Blake Griffin from Chris Paul, CP3, you remember Lob City, to Kawhi and PG-13 Paul George. It doesn't matter. This team is just an accident waiting to happen. Just an accident waiting to happen. Kawhi has been a superstar everywhere he's been. He was the MVP in the finals for the San Antonio Spurs, and the Toronto Raptors. But for the Clippers, he's standing alone, Spitface, on the island, sending SOS signals to anyone who will listen. That's right. He is the main superstar, but he's all by himself. What is wrong with the Clippers? They have never been to a Western Conference Finals in their 50-year history. 50-year history. The current team has Rajon Rondo. Remember him? On every other team, Rondo's been on his alter ego, playoff Rondo. But he comes alive. But with the Clippers, he just hasn't been coming alive so far in the first playoff game. I mean, he had an okay first playoff game, but he wasn't playoff Rondo. So I hate to say it. The Clippers, they are going to be clipped. And to me, they need to find their way back to San Diego. If you remember, they started out in San Diego. That's where they need to go. Right on back, because they cannot represent L.A.
You say they cannot represent L.A. Well, this is flipping where we flip the script and defend the opposing view. Losing to the Mavs is a wake-up call, and Kawhi will take them all the way and get that MVP of the Finals trophy. The Clippers, like I said, they're in that odd space because they could have been had the number 2 or even the number 1 seed. Things were just that competitive in the West. But I think people are overlooking the Clippers. They're overlooking them. And I think the Clippers are going good. Overlook us. Overlook us. And by them losing to the Mavs, they needed that slap in the face to wake them up. Because playoff Rajon did not show up. And a whole lot of other people helped by not showing up. So right now, what it is sometimes you need it's just like when the Bulls lost that first game. It was like, you mean this ain't gonna be a cakewalk? And then they put the pedal to the metal, baby. And what the Mavs have done is said, hey, look, we know that you are supposed to be the better team, but we done slapped you around a little bit. Now you're going to have to now wake up. You in the playoffs. So I still say that the Clippers, when it's all said and done, they're going to be either looking at the Nets or the Knicks. But either way it go, Kawhi will be holding up that MVP Finals trophy. First Lady, defend.
It was a wake-up call for the Clippers. I mean, last year in the bubble, Paul George made several excuses because he had mental issues in the bubble, not seeing his family. Doc Rivers didn't make any adjustments while losing to the Denver Nuggets, and Rivers didn't use Paul George appropriately to use his skills. That's what he was complaining about. Now, PG-13, he complained a lot, but Kawhi Leonard, he put on his big boy pants and said, we lost. We didn't do the things we needed to do to win. The only thing he complained about was the need for a playmaking guard. So they signed playoff Rondo. Now, despite not winning the first game, it will light a fire underneath the Clippers. And Kawhi will be the beast we thought he would be last year. Kawhi realizes that he has to be a vocal leader, something he doesn't like to do, but he knows his actions alone will not propel the Clippers to victory. Hey, that's a problem. It's a problem. They really don't have a real big leader because Paul George, he's a crybaby. He's not really leading. You lead by galvanizing the team, and I believe that's what Kawhi will do. It's something that he's really never done before, but I think he realizes that he has to galvanize this team to the finals. And if the players don't follow Kawhi, let me tell you something. I don't know if he's going to put those words out to the players, but I'm quite sure, his contract is up this year, and if they don't follow him, like follow the leader, he will join the Knicks or the Lakers next season. But I don't think he's going to have to because I think they will finally listen to Kawhi when he speaks, because he is like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, everybody listens, because we know he doesn't speak that much, but I believe he is going to be that force of a leader that needs to be done to get these Clippers to the finals, because they got head problems. It's all mental for them, and Kawhi is going to be that leader, and guess what? The Clippers will finally get to a conference finals and finally win an NBA championship, and we all know who will be the MVP, Kawhi Leonard.
So, First Lady, they just need to take a couple of yoga classes, center themselves. Be one with the ball. Get their heads together, All right, First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2. Head cases.
No, you don't need Hannibal Lecter to analyze the team. Go.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras Panties and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Spitface, over to you.
Oh, First Lady, the production assistants have went out and got us a treat. They found us a stupid criminal. And the only way this story gets topped is if a guy named Pepe Le Pew is busted for unwanted touching next week. A 35-year-old guy in Georgia named Speedy Gonzalez just got arrested after several months on the run. And yes, that's his legal name. Cops have been looking for him since late January after he stole more than $3,000 worth of checks from a guy's mailbox. They've been tracking him since March and finally arrested him on Saturday after a cop pulled him over in his car. It's not clear if he tried to outrun them or not. He's facing charges for forgery, identity fraud, and theft by deception. He also had outstanding warrants in Georgia and Alabama. Speedy. Gosh darn it. Watch splash on you everywhere. It's either Speedy Gonzalez or it must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It. First Lady, over to you.
The PGA Championship is being led by Old Man Phil, and we are not talking about Phillip Rivers, retired Phillip Rivers. We are talking about Phil Mickelson at 50, at the age of 50, which will make him the oldest to win a major. Panel defend. Father Times has caught up to Phil, but Phil has one good round left, and this is it. Spitface defend.
Now, there's those times in life where this is it. It's like, this is it, because you're looking over your shoulder, you looking side by side, you looking in front of you, and you're going, I got this one shot in me. Now, maybe I don't watch too many Rocky movies, but I think Phil this is it for him, and he's got one last shot, because he ain't winning. Not any majors. Them days is over. The Father Time has caught up with. But for this, it's just like when Tiger Woods, after all that had been happening, won that green jacket. It was just like, wow. Now, will Tiger ever win another anything? Who knows? But for that one moment, that one day, whatever it took, he got it done. And Phil is doing that. And when you feel history on you, it can either be a pressure or it can be a joyful embrace. And I think Phil is embracing it. Like, this is it. I'm just going. He doing his little meditations before he go and hit the ball, and he just taking his time, and he got some breaks because he definitely had some post shots, but he got some breaks and he's still there. So whether it's karma or like the Clippers, get a little yoga in your life, or meditate or something. This is his opportunity, and he gonna make the best of it. And let's not forget that Phil was in the era of Tiger, so a lot of them championships that Tiger won, Phil probably would have won, but it didn't work out that way. It's like being in the era of Michael Jordan. A whole bunch of folks would have won championships. The Knicks, you name a few, the Jazz, all of, the Sun, all sorts of, but they didn't because it was the Michael Jordan era. So, but Phil got that one shot left. He got one good round of golf in him, and this is it. That's all I'm saying, First Lady.
All right, he got that one shot left. Yeah, I agree with you. But you know what, Spitface? It's so hard, really hard for me to talk about Phil Mickelson because you already brought it up when Tiger is still recovering from his car accident because they are matched together. Phil and Tiger, Tiger and Phil. That was Tiger was Phil's nemesis. Like you said, he just couldn't get past Tiger. But nevertheless, it's going to be a real difficult round for Phil Mickelson. But he has a chance, like everybody said, to become the oldest major winner. And that really is something that I think he really wants to achieve. Phil will use his experience because, as we had said before, he's always had to battle Tiger Woods so many times. It's going to prepare him to play under pressure with someone breathing down his back. And trust me, Bruce Capshaw is breathing down his back. He's only one stroke behind him. And he had a miraculous day to come back and to get near Phil. So this could be Phil's swan song because he really has stunned the golf world being in the lead and holding the lead through all these rounds. He has the strength, and making history will put another chapter in Phil's golf story. So I really believe, like you said, Spitface, all he needs is just one good round. And it probably will be his last chance for him to win a major before he joins the senior circuit. All right, Spitface, we're going to flip the script, the Fen. No one knows the heart of a champion. Phil has plenty of heart, but his backstroke will come up short, and he will not win the PGA championship. His backstroke, this isn't swimming, this is golf. All right, the Fen, Spitface.
The bottom line is, Phil, you're a good man. You had some terrific games with against Tiger, but buddy, Bruce is loose. And Phil, we know you have a penchant for I'm not gonna call it choking, but so that things kind of go errant or haywire. So I really think that Phil has played his best golf and put it all out there. And today is when I put it like this: that today is when it's bye-bye, because he's not going to be able to keep it going. He's not going to be able to keep it going, and but he'll be in his special place as he does his meditation. So it'll be all right. But sorry, Phil, not this time. That's all I'm saying, Bruce.
Okay. I apologize. I don't know why I call him Bruce. His name is Brooks Capshaw, not Brooks.
Brooks is
not
Bruce.
Bruce. His name is Brooks. But anyway, but he was 2 years old when Mickelson turned pro. 2 years old. when Mickelson won his first major championship in 2004, guess what? Capshaw was 14. He had turned 14. So it's only fitting that you will have these two will be paired together for the final round. And, Brooks is seeking his fifth major, believe it or not. And it's going to be possibly his third PGA championship. Now, Mickelson is looking to be his sixth major. And, it's going to be a tough battle because you got Brooks, who's only 31 years old. He really, like I said, he made up 5 shots in 6 holes to catch Mickelson. Mm. So he is really, really on the upswing right now. And I know Phil is going to do his best to hold that lead, but I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Brooks Koepka, he is storming. He is really storming, and unfortunately, he is going to win this major because you want to know something? Mickelson is so used to Tiger Woods catching him and passing him on that final day, and that's unfortunately what's going to happen to Phil again because Brooks Koepka, he's going to do it. He's going to pass Mickelson on the final round. But you know what? We got to still give our flowers to Phil Mickelson. I mean, he had a great career, and unfortunately, he's just not going to be able to withstand the charge and the marching of Brooks Koepka. Spitface, please take us to break.
Father time. All right, on the other side of the break, we have another performance from Earl Carter on Shout Out Part 2. Please stay tuned.
You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, we have another performance from Earl Carter. DJ, let's hear Silky. Roll it. All right, that was Silky. First Lady, was it silky for you?
Oh, yeah, very nice, very smooth, and it was silky. Definitely, I'm shouting it out.
My man got some silky jazz. Well, I got to get the brothers. Yeah, I got to give them a shout out. Yeah. And thank you, Earl Carter, for sending in more than one track so that we could get the full Earl Carter experience. Now, that is the end of shout out. If you liked what you heard from Earl Carter, check him out at earlcartermusic.com and on Old Grumpy Radio. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to content@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, back to you.
It's time for the hardwood picks. Who will win the hardwood crown? Well, Spitface, we only had one question last week, and basically the question was, will all the team with the winning records, will they win the play-in? And we both said yes, and guess what? The Golden State Warriors was the one who ruined that for us because they had a better record than the Memphis Grizzlies, and unfortunately, they did lose to the Memphis Grizzlies. So we both lost $500,000 on that. So as of today, our grand total points are: I have 950,000 points, and you have a negative 1,350,000 points. So still got a lot of time. There's a lot of left in this the hardwood picks. So let's get to the current hardwood picks. LeBron James. Well, by the end of the day next Saturday, LeBron James will lead in steals. 500 for the correct answer, minus 500 for the incorrect answer. I'm going to say no. Spitface.
You know, LeBron has been known to get a few steals, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler leads the league in steals, and he's still playing in the playoffs. The Knicks will lead the series over the Hawks. 500,000 for the correct answer, minus 500 for the incorrect answer. Spitface.
I'm going with the Knicks.
Well, you know I'm going with the Knicks, so they might as well not even ask me that. I'm definitely going with the Knicks. Okay. The Heat will lead the series over the Milwaukee Bucks. 500,000 for the correct answer, minus 500,000 for the incorrect answer. Well, this race, I'm going to tell you something. The Bucks lost to the Heat last playoff in the bubble, and they barely, and I mean barely, squeaked by the first game, because the first game, my goodness, the Heat really should have won that game. But I'm going to say the Bucks. The Heat will not lead the series over the Bucks by Saturday, so I'm going to say no to that. Spitface?
I'm going with the Heat.
Okay, so you're going to say Yes, all right. Well, it's a possibility because I tell you, they played them tight. That's for sure. All right, the Lakers will lead the series over the Phoenix Suns. 500,000 for the correct answer, minus 500,000 for the incorrect answer. Spitface?
Purple and gold.
All right. Well, guess what? I'm going to go with purple and orange. I'm going to say it's going to be the Suns. I think this will be a tough series for the Lakers, and it's a tough series to be their first series after, LeBron and AD being hurt. Because if they can go down, now would be the time. And unfortunately, they playing the number 2 team in their conference. So I'm going to say no. No. All right. The Mavs will lead the series over the Clippers. 500,000 for the correct answer, minus 500 for the incorrect answer. Oh, wow. This is a tough one. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to I really think the Clippers are going to go down in the first it's about matchups, and the Clippers do not match up well against the Mavs. The Clippers don't match up well. So I'm going to say yes. Spitface?
I'm saying the Clippers.
Okay, you can go with the Clippers. Okay. All right. Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
The Nets. What will they really do?
Will
they dominate? Will the games be? I think the top story is what's going on, what's going to happen, what's happening with the Nets, the big 3.
Okay. Well, my top story is, because they've been talking about it, will Julio Jones of the Atlanta Falcons, will he be traded? That's a big story.
Yeah.
Big time story. It's time to cut bait with Julio Jones.
Julio, me and Julio, we was in a party down by the store. Now we're going to kick Julio to the curb.
Kick Julio to the curb.
Go to the Bears, Julio. Go to the Bears.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'd like to just give a shout-out to the Veterans Women's Enterprise Center, our partners in empowering our women warriors fighting the business battle. As part of our support, I will be appearing on Trendy Thursday, May 27th at 1 p.m. Central on Facebook Live. For details, visit veteranwomen'sec.org. Let me repeat that. veteranwomen'sec.org. veteranwomen'sec.org. Please visit us at braspantysports.com, where you'll find links for the latest episodes. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.